Here we are. How we doing, everyone? Look at that. It's number 209 today. I always like to say the number. I don't know why, but it's a lot of classes, isn't it? It's a lot of classes that we've done together. So welcome. I'm going to turn the comments on, which is up in this top corner. So excuse me while I do that and sort out my technology. Welcome. Well done for making it this far. I always say, when you make it this far, all the hard work has been done. Don't turn it off. Don't do that. Yeah, I made it this far and now I'm out. What I would wholeheartedly invite you to do is for you to join in with this beautiful class, and we'll practice together and we'll see where it takes us. I'm just going to press this button, join chat. There we go. I think everything's good there. Look at that. You can connect via YouTube as well if I press that button. That's good, isn't it? And remember, it's really important that all of this incredible content is available on all of these incredible platforms: Facebook, YouTube. There's some stuff on TikTok. What else is there? Instagram. There's stuff on there as well. So well done for making it this far. Well done for joining in. We're going to do a little bit of breath work. We're going to do a little bit of movement. We'll see where it takes us. And then what will happen is you can go off for the rest of your day. And hopefully you've raised your energy, you feel a little bit different, and yoga's done the trick. So what I love about yoga is it's not just about what's going on physically within the body, it's also about what's going on up here, right? So the idea that yoga is the calming of the fluctuations of the mind, or kind of the yogis used to call the chitta vritti, the whirlpooling of the mind. You know, sometimes we can get so overwhelmed and life gets so busy, or we get really down and we don't really know how to get ourselves out of that kind of like dull, low spot. It's difficult. Life, there's a lot of demands on us, right? And sometimes, God damn it, it can just feel really, really overwhelming. And I think yoga can be a really great way to kind of cut through some of that stuff. Give yourself an amazing reset, right? This is just resetting. That's all we're doing. And then we can get on, and hopefully we have a slightly different perspective. And when you need it again, it's there for you again. And the great thing about the Virtual Village Hall is it's not just yoga. You know, there's all of these amazing classes. We've got Pilates, we've got Sit Fit. You know, there's some really, really good stuff. There's kind of like, what was the one that I was looking at the other day that I really liked? The stuff with Andy, you know, some more kind of like physical stuff. So yeah, just try the classes, and then the more creative classes that are around, you know, languages and, you know, using things with your hands and building things and creating things. And this is all really part of the kind of creative process. And a lot of us think sometimes, I'm not creative, I'm not going to do that stuff. Or as we get older, we kind of, our options get smaller and smaller and smaller because we're not really kind of pushing ourselves. And I don't mean push ourselves in this kind of like mindless way. I mean, just being brave and being curious, and get rid of that perfectionism that everything has to be perfect, or I'm not going to be very good at it. And here's the great news. You can't be bad at yoga. Genuinely, it's impossible to be bad at yoga, because yoga is just yoga, right? And you just do what you do. The only time that you can probably be bad is if you hurt yourself. But it's not your fault if you do that, but you're not going to hurt yourself. This is a very safe practice. So I'm going to go back there onto my mat. I ask you to join me. You can get in a chair. You can do it how you want. Remember, every week I do a chair yoga class. Next week it's on Tuesday, so join me for that as well. And I think it's in the morning. I think it's at 11 a.m. Right, there we go. A little shuffle back. That was very graceful, wasn't it? I bet you've not seen a yoga teacher do that before. And make sure you're hydrated. It's been a bit odd, the weather, hasn't it? It's warm and it's muggy. More, as they say in Leicester, it's muggy. It's dead muggy today. But it's kind of still worth staying nicely hydrated. So I got myself some chai, which is very, very nice. All right, less talk about my tea and more talk about settling into a shape that feels good. So I'm sat cross-legged. You don't have to sit this way, remember. You know, if it feels good for you, bring your legs out. This is a nice way to sit. You've got a wall like I have behind me, sit against the wall, or you can sit with your feet like this. As long as your spine's relatively long, you give yourself a lot of room to breathe into, then that's cool. Hello to Alan, who just said hello to me. I wasn't ignoring you, Alan. Nice to have you along, Alan. Always nice to have you along, mate. Okay, so bring your hands onto your knees, probably, and maybe just open your palms just a little bit. And you can draw some length into your spine. And what I like to do here is I love to close my eyes. I said I like, and then I love. Do I love to do it, Dave, or do I like to do it? Sometimes I like it, sometimes I love it. But what it allows me to do is just drop inwards. And I'm just checking in with my breath. I'm just noticing how my breath feels within my body. And then thinking about my body, and I really feel into my physical body. I might kind of wriggle around a little bit and bring some tiny little micro movements in. That can feel quite nice. And then find a little bit of stillness. And then what we'll do is we'll just stay here for, I don't know, let's do a couple of minutes today at the start of the class. Just being super, super still. And I'll be quiet. And then we'll check back in 2 minutes. And from here, just take 3 more rounds of breath. But feel free, if you haven't already, you can always exhale a little through the mouth. I like to do that sometimes. It just feels like I release a little bit of tension. And then if you're sat like I am with the legs crossed, or even if your legs are out, right, it doesn't matter how your legs are, you can just lean back into your hands and just release your legs. Do it really slowly. I'm not going to do anything too physical today. We're going to keep it relatively chilled out. So kind of just drop your knees to either side. Plenty of stuff we'll do seated. And what I hate is, when you get uncomfortable seated. So I really recommend that you experiment the way that you sit. Sitting on the floor with your legs crossed, for a lot of people, it's not the most comfortable position, granted. So maybe a cushion or a pillow, or you can kind of get into a chair if that feels better for you. Plenty of the stuff we're going to do now, you can do in the chair. All right, come back seated. You might bring your other shin in front and just settle yourself down. And then when you're ready, take an inhale just to bring your arms all the way up into the air. All right, how does that feel? Seems a bit of a strange question, right? As you exhale, bring your arms all the way back down. All right, do that a few more times. So inhaling the arms up, shoulders engage, spine lengthens. You want to relax the shoulder blades down the back, not kind of, not like this. Relax. Exhale, bring the hands down, swoop them down. Kind of notice how the arms feel. Inhale up. Exhale down. Use your breath. So this is a nice way just to kind of match movement with breath. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. 3 more like that. Inhale up. Exhale down. Nice. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then the final time. Inhale up. And exhale down. Beautiful. Really nice. And then bring the hands back onto the knees and just check out what that's done physically. You know, for me now, I can feel it in my shoulders a little bit of work, bit of honest work. You know, I feel the kind of breath flowing in, flowing out. I feel a little more energized. So let's just move that on a little bit. So when you're ready, maybe you just graze the fingertips down onto the floor. This is a nice place to be. Inhale, bring your arms all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands all the way back down. You just tap the fingertips down on the floor. Inhale up. And then this time with your right hand, this one here, hold onto your left wrist. So you just kind of hold around your left wrist. Inhale to find length. Exhale, a little bend over towards your right hand side. So what you're doing is you're creating this space down the left side of the body. You might roll the shoulder forward. You might roll the shoulder back. You can have a generous bend in this right arm. You kind of lengthen the left arm as much as you can. Inhale in, exhale in as you go. Inhale to come back to center. And then exhale, bring the hands all the way back down. Same thing again. Inhale to bring the arms up. Try and do this as mindfully as you can. And then this time, left hand around the right wrist. Inhale to find length. Relax the shoulders, but the spine is long. Exhale into your side bend. So you're bending over towards the left, creating this space down the right side. I have this kind of tendency where I kind of just want to roll this right shoulder open. So I kind of twist a little towards the right. Feels good. I'm conscious of my neck and I don't want to strain there, so it's very gentle. Take one more round of breath. Nice deep inhale. And then a full exhale. Come all the way back up. This time, bring the hands and the arms so they're in line with the shoulders. All right. Now, have a little move side to side. How does that feel within your body? So a little side to side movement, but the arms are engaging. Maybe you flip the palms up. Maybe you flip the palms down. Maybe forward. Maybe back. That's a nice movement, isn't it? Maybe forward, maybe back, maybe up, maybe down. Kind of play around with it. If I flip my palms back, get this little click in my right shoulder, my rotator cuff. It's not sore, but there's certainly tension there. So what's happening is I'm just informing myself of kind of where the body is a little tight. Not too much obsession on that. All right, beautiful. Take one more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down. Bring the hands onto the knees and then just shrug your shoulders. Nothing could be simpler, right? Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale the shoulders up, exhale the shoulders come down. You really drop the shoulder blades down your back. Nice. And then inhale the shoulders up. And exhale the shoulders down. Beautiful. Really nice. We're going to move through the neck. So again, maybe you move the legs out. Let's concentrate on the bottom part of our body to make sure it's not too tight. And as I say, you know, because we're going to move the head, that's where most of the focus is going to be. So what you can do is you can, you know, if you really feel like, oh, there's too much stuff seated today, get in a chair. Adapt your practice out so you can carry on, right? So you can join in with the whole of the class. It's only 40 minutes. It's not a huge amount of time. Maybe bring the legs out long and just to give the legs a little shake out. It'll give me a good excuse to have some more chai. And then from here, maybe just lean back into the hands just to support yourself and just kind of roll the ankles out. Nice, simple stuff, right? So you kind of maybe roll the toes towards each other, maybe roll in the opposite direction, maybe come back the other way. We don't generally do this sort of stuff every day, do you? Maybe you do, I don't know, I don't. Maybe flex the toes back towards the shins, maybe point the toes forwards. So see how you feel in your feet and your ankles, and these areas get really tight. Maybe roll again. Maybe point the toes together. Maybe separate the toes. Can we do anything else? You can lift the leg up. Yeah, you feel that kind of engagement through the leg. You might even bend the right knee in, so you kind of sit tall. This left leg is quite active. That's supporting you. You don't let it kind of go baggy. You kind of press the length of the left leg down. You're hugging the right knee in. Maybe there's a little side to side movement. And then from here, what we can do is we can release the right hand and then have the left hand on the right knee. So I'm just supporting it. And then maybe you just lengthen out through the right arm. Nice, right? Or you can use the left hand now to hook around the right toes and lengthen the right leg out. And you kind of cross the right leg over the left. You look down the right arm. Nice, beautiful. Play around with it, sort of play around with your balance. Don't take it too seriously. We're just kind of playing around a little here. And then come back to center. Maybe just hug that right knee in one final time. Little click there. And then seal your right foot in the inside of your left thigh. Nice. All right, we're going to do a forward fold. So what I don't want you to do is force this. I want you to forward fold kind of just at a level where it feels like, it's not too much, not too little. So inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky, turn the torso towards the left leg, and then just bring the hands down, and they might just arrive here. So all I'm doing is I'm just kind of bringing my fingertips down where they land. I'm not, I must get to my foot. I could do that. I could bend my knee a little and grab my foot, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of find a little bit of rounding through my spine. But my spine, remains relatively long. So I can think about the length through my thoracic and my upper spine, the kind of the mid spine. There's a little rounding in the lower spine, but that's okay. I can kind of handle that. So I'm stretching the whole seam of the back body, especially this left side. So kind of this area, the sacrum, the lower back, the hamstring, and maybe the adductor muscles a little bit less, right? Because you're twisting towards the left leg. So you take a little bit of strain out the inside of the leg. It's tough, right? This right knee, make sure it feels okay. Kind of seal the foot against the thigh. Nice. This is not one of my favorite poses, believe me. Inhale, come all the way back, bring the hands behind you, and then separate the feet, and then just drop the legs to either side. Now I've got to remember what we did on that side because I ad-libbed that one a little bit. You're going, what do you mean? You may always make it up. I prefer to say that my classes are fluid, right? No big plan. Because you never quite know. I don't know what you guys need, but if you keep coming back, then we're all doing something right. Okay, bring the legs back out. Nice. Give them a little shake out. Beautiful. And then maybe just lean back into the hands again. And this time, root down through the full length of the right leg and maybe lift up through the left leg. That's quite a lot, isn't it? Just kind of feeling that, my leg's shaking a little now. I can feel the engagement. It's quite strong in the left hip, so you might support with the hands. Then if you wanted to, you can bend into that left knee, make a basket grip, and then root down through the right leg. That's supporting you. And remember, this is it is, a balance. There's a balance going on here because you've only got one of your lower limbs on the floor. So remember, balancing is super important for us. See how that feels. If you wanted to, you can move a stage further, right hand around the left knee and then the left hand behind. And you just kind of stretch, still hugging that left knee in, but looking down the left arm. And then remember, you can use the right fingers, two peace fingers, first and the second, around the the left toe, and then you lengthen out through the left leg. That's left leg lengthening. Have a little sway around, sort of play around with it. See what happens, kind of get into the hamstrings a little. Don't push it too far. Inhale, come back to center. Maybe hug the left knee back in. Re-lengthen through that right leg. Make sure it's nice and engaged. And then again, just seal the inside of the left foot against the right thigh. And then you might just have a little wriggle around just to align everything. Make sure your torso and your shoulders are stacked. Head balance is perfectly on top of your neck. Inhale, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, turn a little to the right and then bring the hands down and then just fold over that right leg. First thing that happens with me is my shoulders begin to hunch and I feel a bit of tension there. So maybe I widen the arms. I already feel a very deep stretch down the back of this right leg and I feel it down the back of my right side of my spine. So, that's enough for me. I don't want to kind of then muscle forward and think, I must grab my toes because that's where enlightenment is. It's not. It's here. All right, so don't feel like you've always got to push it further. If I can just get another 2 centimeters forward, then my life is going to be perfect. And again, it doesn't work like that, right? So take the strain and the pressure out of your practice. Some yoga teachers say, don't be a joyless striver. Kind of enjoy your practice as much as you can. All right, take one more deep inhale and then take a full exhale. Beautiful. Walk your hands back. This time what we're going to do is going to bring the soles of the feet together if you can. Remember, you can do this in a chair, so you can shuffle forward onto the front of your chair, maybe bring the soles of the feet together, keep the spine nice and long, and then walk the fingertips so they're kind of pointing forward again, and maybe you lean back a little. Now, this is a good place to be. I think there's a lot of wisdom in doing, this kind of big external hip rotation, sat upright, and then some people lean back. Because where's the stretch coming from? Well, it's coming from here, right? It's coming from the inside of your thighs and your hips. So I don't really need to fold forward. I can already feel a stretch. I'm not kind of pushing my knees down. I'm just letting gravity do its work. But there are lots of options here. You can have a little move through the torso. You might move the knees up and down. So you can do this kind of thing. And that can feel quite nice. Now, stay here if you want, or you can re-lengthen your spine, maybe hold around your feet. And then try and relax your shoulders. And then what you might do is some people do this cobbler pose where they use their thumbs and they kind of prise their feet open. That sounds quite strong, right? But it's not. It's just a kind of little opening of your feet. And then your elbows might go in the inside of your knees. Then you can round your spine and let your head just fall down towards the floor. And you can breathe it out here. And if you use a bolster or cushions, you can always kind of stack the bolster and cushions up so you rest your head. But we're not going to be here for long. So just notice how the back of your neck feels. Let the jaw be really soft. I promise you we will get into the neck in a moment. But for now, breathe very deeply into your lower spine. So this is butterfly pose. That's lovely, really nice. Kind of sets your sort of practice up. You can really sort of pinpoint where you are in life physically, I think, with something like this. It's, again, not one of the easiest poses. And then when your next exhale comes, just press yourself back up. Take a nice full exhale through the mouth. Lean back into the hands. And then again, same thing again. Separate your feet. Drop your knees to either side. See how that feels. It's all right, isn't it? It's all right, this stuff. Okay, we're going to come back to cross-legged or any position that feels good for you. And then we're going to move through the neck. So you can obviously do this. You don't have to be cross-legged. Sit in a chair, bring your legs out long. Make sure you have a slurp of tea or some water. Re-lengthen your spine. And then just drop your chin down towards your sternum. And just rock your chin a little side to side. I always like to start this in this place when we're moving the head out. I don't want to get kind of too ambitious of any of this stuff. So just kind of freeing up the back of the neck. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on the neck and the head. So a little bit of patience. We're not in any rush to get anywhere. Now, if you wanted to, you can always circle your head out. So you might inhale as your head comes up. And you might exhale as your chin falls down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. And maybe bringing your head back and just circling in the opposite direction. And noticing any areas of tension. And the areas of the body that feel tight. I can sort of hear my neck moving out here. It doesn't hurt or anything, but I can certainly feel tension within my neck. And then from here, inhale your head all the way back to center. And then with the spine nice and long, take a full exhale. Beautiful. All right, simple neck turn. So maybe have a little wriggle before you get there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do something nice and gentle. Inhale your head to the left. And exhale your head to the right. Inhale left. And exhale right. Couple more times to either side. And then eventually inhaling your head all the way back to center. Taking a full exhale. And then from here, we're just going to come onto all fours. Really nice work. We've been there long enough, right? Most of the class, so move very gently, come onto all fours. And maybe just kind of have a little wriggle around, a little move about here. So maybe the hips swing a little side to side. See how that feels. Maybe the hips come forward and back a little. And then from here, kind of move through just a little bit of cat-cow. So inhale, drop your belly down. Lift your head, lift your heart. As you exhale, round into your spine. It's a nice familiar movement. Inhale forward, exhale round. A few more like that. When you're ready, inhale, come back to center. Then split your knees wide, bring your big toes together, and then settle back into child's pose, just for a few breaths here. So the forehead surrenders down to the floor. I mean, it doesn't have to. You can always bring your head and your hands in this position where you kind of stack your head on your hands. It's your choice. And take some really deep, nourishing breaths here. Child's pose, it's not the easiest pose to come into, but for a lot of people, it can be a really nice, grounding, calming pose. No rush here. Take another few rounds of breath. And then from here, if the hands aren't there, stretch them out in front like mine are. Really spread out through the fingers. Bring yourself all the way back to all fours. Make sure your knees and your hips are kind of stacked. And then move through those rounds of cat-cow again, just to kind of stretch everything out. You heard me talking earlier in the class about balance and how important balancing was. We're not going to do any balancing from standing today. We're going to do that nice familiar one where we're going to do it from all fours. And the nice thing about this one is you can kind of build it slowly, and you can just pick what you need, right? So you don't have to go the full hog with me. So what you can do, first of all, the right leg that is going to go back. So you kind of stretch the right leg back. You kind of think about engaging into the sole of that right foot. Okay, so hips are nice and neutral. You can kind of rock backwards and forwards a little bit here. And if you wanted to, you can always stretch the left arm forward. So you're in this position, right leg back, left arm forward, kind of gazing forward here. Feels quite nice. So pick an option, whatever works for you. And then what we're going to do, we're going to do a little side plank variation. So bring the left hand down, bring your right toes down. So now that right leg's long. Keep the left foot exactly where it is, and then bring the right foot behind the left foot. See that little move I just did? I just kind of swept it towards the left. So my right foot's right behind my left foot. And what I'm going to do, we did it last week, I'm going to kickstand out this left foot. So I'm going to spin the right knee and the left foot off my mat. Be very gentle as you do that. So you see that movement? And then you seal the right foot down, the left hand sort of underneath your nose, and then you inhale the right arm up. So you're kind of in this position. I just need to sort out my t-shirt. I've got it all tucked in. All right, so you're here, right? So this is nice. This is an adapted side plank. Right leg, this is remaining relatively strong. That's supporting me. And now I've got loads of support through this left leg because it's kind of spun out. So you can play around with the balance a little more here. Roll the right shoulder back. And then on an inhale, maybe what you do is you just lift up through that right leg. It's good fun, right? You can just lift it up a tiny bit. You might wobble around. That's all right. Just breathe it out. Some people kind of bend into the leg and grab the foot. So you can kind of do this kind of version. That's quite nice. But sometimes the body just is not ready for it. It's okay. Maybe the foot remains on the floor. Your choice. Take one more round of breath. And then exhale, come back to center. I'm laughing because I was getting like loads of tension in my left hip there. So it's nice to come back to center, give it a good wriggle out. It's a really good example of just kind of moving out of a pose when you need to, not sort of staying in the pose. And then what we'll do is we'll do that all on the other side. So we'll build from the balance first. So maybe gaze down to the top edge of your mat, lengthen out through the left leg. Sometimes it's nice to have a good look down the left leg. Make sure you kind of feel into the hips, maybe sweep the right arm forward. So you're here, right? This is your sunbird. This is a really beautiful place to be. Nice. Now you can stay here if you want. You can bring that right hand down. You can lengthen out through the left leg. Look at your right foot and then place the left foot behind the right this time. Bring the right hand into the center of the mat. Spin out the right foot so it spins off the edge of your mat. Lengthen through the left leg and then inhale. Left arm up. So you're just on the other side. So you're here. You're just working it out what you need, what you want. You can look down, you can look up. Just be gentle. If you wanted, you can lift up through the left leg if you want. Get a little balance going on. You know, maybe you kind of find the ankle and you can kind of kick the ankle into the hand. You can be here. Or maybe you just stay here. Take one more round of breath. And then exhale, come back to center. Beautiful. Back to cat-cow. Maybe sigh out through the mouth. Kind of let your breath go. So that's your balance. It's a good stretch, right? It kind of really works out through the legs and the hips. Beautiful. All right, let's do something really great. We're going to come onto our backs. So kind of roll over onto one hip. And when you arrive on your back, maybe what you do is you just hug your knees in towards your chest. Whatever works for you. I just kind of come down and I'll hug my knees in, soften my shoulders down. And then what we'll do is we'll stay in this version, just with the hands. If it feels too much around the knees, just bring your hands behind the backs of your thighs so they can kind of be here. And then just remain here, letting the spine release a little more. Maybe close your eyes and just check in with this little back release. Breathe really deeply if you can. And then from here, bring the soles of the feet down on the floor. Walk the feet nice and wide. Bring the arms out. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, drop your knees over towards the right-hand side. So you're in a nice wide leg twist. We're not going to be here for long, just a few breaths on either side before we come into Shavasana. Inhale, bring your knees back to center, and then as you exhale, drop them to the opposite side. When you're ready, inhale, come back to center, hug your knees back in. And then lengthen your legs down your mat. You can always do this, just have the feet on the floor, knees bent. Sometimes that feels more comfortable. Bring the hands and the arms wherever feels good. And just set yourself up for just a couple of minutes of final relaxation, your Shavasana. This is your stillness. Now be quiet and you can just drop into feeling everything, all the amazing work you've done this afternoon. I'll be back soon. And then from here, just begin to bring some little movements back into your body, maybe your fingers and your toes and your ankles and your wrists. So I always go, not always, but usually I want to have a good yawn. Shows I'm relaxed and appreciating my practice. It's like nice to kind of reset, maybe a big sigh. You can stretch the arms, you can bend the knees back in, whatever feels good. And then roll over to one side. And then maybe you just press yourself all the way back up. And we will come back to a seated position where we're going to finish the practice. So we'll come back forward. Really lovely work, everyone. All right, bring your hands to your heart center and lengthen your spine, relax your shoulders. Notice the effects of your practice. Thank yourself for showing up. That's the hardest thing. And then just with a wholehearted bow, wish yourself well. Wish everybody else well. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. That was really nice. Well, I enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something from it as well. I needed that after being really busy, and I needed a little reset, and I needed to kind of move my body out. I did quite a lot of walking yesterday, and I felt a bit tight. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So hopefully you got something from it. Check out all the amazing other content on this place, because there's so much good stuff at the Virtual Village Hall, and the schedule comes out at the start of the week, and you can just plan your day by. I was saying in my chair yoga class on Tuesday, just try and pick something once a day, half an hour, or 3 times a week, and plan your week around it, and pick things that are varied, right? And then you get so much benefit from them. All right. Well, I hope you have a lovely weekend. I might see you for chair yoga on Tuesday. If I don't, hopefully I'll see you back here next Thursday. But whatever you're doing, hope it's a good one. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye now.